Thanks again for tuning in to Real Health. Before the break, we looked at the solutions to managing metabolic syndrome as a precursor to diabetes, but now we're focusing on natural solutions to treat and manage insulin resistance. Are they linked? Where does the link take place? We've got the perfect person to break it down for you. Rory Jean-Jacques, who's a natural health practitioner, is in studio with us, and it's our second feature in the Real Health Medicine Cabinet, a formula that treats insulin resistance and other conditions as well. Because I can just hear people saying, okay, hold on, Stacey. You just told us about metabolic syndrome. Where does insulin resistance form, part of that syndrome? Can they be separate? Break it down for us.
So a lot of people can have insulin resistance, but they don't have all the other patterns that play into metabolic syndrome. So metabolic syndrome X, which is what they used to call it, syndrome X, is basically a combination of things, which is high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high acidity, elevated blood sugar levels with insulin resistance that plays part of that. So it would normally start in the early stages with insulin resistance. So when you start to gain weight, particularly around the midriff, that's insulin sensitivity. Your body is starting to store what you're taking in as opposed to using it for using it for energy. So probably about 60 to 70% of people have some form of insulin resistance. We eat way too much refined carbohydrates, too much high fructose corn syrup, which is put into fizzy drinks. What that does is it spikes the insulin levels. Your body is meant to take your insulin, basically attaches onto the sugar, goes and knocks on the cell and says, let me in, and then it gets put in. Then there's a little furnace inside your cell called the mitochondria. It's like a little engine, and it gets burnt.
Energy center.
Gets burnt. But what happens with that is when you're constantly spiking insulin, because number one, we eat too much. Number two, we eat too frequently. Number three, we are not as active as we should be. Number four, we have too many things that act like rocket fuel in the system. So it's constantly spiking your sugars, body's producing high amounts of insulin, body's trying to drop it. Over time, your cells and different types of organs stop responding to insulin. That is when you become insulin resistant.
So it's a hormone, right, for those that don't understand?
Insulin is a hormone. It's produced by the pancreas, okay? Your pancreas is also a digestive organ, but we always hear about the pancreas mainly when it produces insulin and when it stops producing insulin. So you can still be producing high amounts of insulin, gaining weight, but you can actually have an energy crisis because the sugar can't get into the cells. So you start to have brain fog, fatigue in the middle of the day, tiredness after eating, highs and lows, high blood sugar, low blood sugar, but all during the while you're starting to gain weight. Okay, so that's insulin resistance. Certain organs can be heavily affected. So your brain can have a form of insulin resistance, that's Alzheimer's. Okay, your liver can have a form of insulin resistance, which is type 2 diabetes. Your kidneys can also be resistant. You start to develop metabolic acidity. So you actually start to get a form of renal failure from that. So it's extremely important to look at your diet and your lifestyle, and the things, especially in South Africa and even all over the world, that clog up our mitochondria and stop our body using energy is hydrogenated fats, margarine. We can buy it in these big tubs that's put on everything.
Explain to people why it's hydrogenated fat. Because people see a block of butter and they see a tub of margarine and they're like, what's the difference?
Butter is a food. If you can get grass-fed butter, is the ultimate food. It's extremely high in nutrients. It's got fats that your body can use for energy. Hydrogenated fats are things like sunflower oil, cottonseed oil, rapeseed oils, canola oils, but what they've done is they've been superheated and they pump hydrogen through it, which breaks the hydrogen bonds in it. And it was originally created in World War II because butter was melting in the water to keep it stable. So they created it. They also created it as a way to fatten livestock. But when they gave it to livestock, they died. So it's banned.
No one what to say. It's a bad thing.
It's banned.
We shouldn't be eating it.
It's banned all over the world. It destroys thyroid function. So what that actually does is it acts like plastic. So if you pump enough hydrogen through oil, it becomes so sticky that you can build a house, or you can almost create plastic out of it. And that becomes a very, very damaging substance in the body, and it's one of the leading causes of inhibiting oxidative metabolism. So that's your body being able to burn things for energy. When you clog that, you get into an energy crisis. Now, what happens when you eat carbohydrates like starch, but it's been put in hot oil, which is partially hydrogenated. Now you're getting that intense combo, which also creates huge amounts of inflammation. The more inflammation there is in the body, the more insulin the body produces. So insulin resistance can be addressed by lowering inflammation, so a less inflammatory diet, so cutting out white bread, white rice, white potatoes, white sugar, start having low GI, brown bread, quinoa, millet, brown rice.
Although ketogenic diets are quite popular for treating insulin resistance, you just need to do it under the supervision of someone that knows exactly how to do it, right?
Absolutely. So limiting all those carbohydrates, so following like Banting, paleo, or keto, or things like that, really helps to reset how your body responds.
And
to
you
insulin.
are still eating carbohydrates, it's just in the vegetable form.
And not ones that have a high glycemic load that tend to spike.
Yes.
You tend to, because if you eat a meal even with protein, your body will produce insulin, but you're not getting that huge spike all the time. So intermittent fasting is one of the best ways to do that.
How do you recommend people do intermittent fasting?
So I would recommend you do it under a practitioner. Okay, and there are a lot of good programs that you can also find online. And it needs to be done in a specific way. So you'll go for extended periods of not eating, and that resensitizes your system. Okay, you can use things to stabilize your sugar levels like chromium. There was something that when I was on radio, I gave out, which is a very simple remedy that people can use. It's a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, okay, a teaspoon of honey, okay, a teaspoon of cinnamon, and a squeeze of lemon.
Some people add in a little bit of cayenne pepper as well.
You can add in a little bit of cayenne pepper or a little bit of turmeric, and you add hot water to that. You do that every morning. You get your pH correct, you get your liver detoxifying.
Gets the system working.
You get your whole digestion, and I had people giving me feedback, their cholesterol dropped, their blood pressure improved, their sugar levels improved drastically. Cinnamon is one of the most amazing
Yes, it
herbs.
is.
Okay, good quality.
Non-irradiated.
Non-irradiated, get it from
Yeah.
a health shop,
Yeah.
very, very good quality Ceylon cinnamon would.
And that goes for the honey as well.
Yes. Okay. We don't want to get sugarized
Yes.
or mock honey, which comes from China. You need to get ones that you can trace. That's proper original honey. There's been a big hoo-ha about that lately.
Yes,
to actually get proper, non-treated original honey as a food.
So what labels do you see on the? Should you be looking for? Non-irradiated is one.
Non-irradiated, non-heated.
Non-heated.
Okay, and traceable.
Love it.
People with insulin resistance can also look at things like gymnema, as well as ashwagandha to lower your cortisol levels.
Ashwagandha is just great, generally speaking, right?
Stress gets that insulin up
again,
in a big way.
How do you know that you really have insulin resistance?
How do you know you have insulin resistance? It's a whole range of symptoms. You get that spare tire, that major weight gain around the midriff, fatigue after eating, starch, mood swings, cravings, tiredness in the middle of the day, energy dips in the late afternoon, waking up at night. So it's quite a difficult thing to diagnose.
Got to tick quite a few boxes.
It's a range of symptoms, but one of the main ones is weight gain around the midriff. And if you start to do that, you'll start to find you lose centimeters, which is what we're looking at as opposed to overall weight.
Yes, no, I completely get that. Now, the Real Health team has tried Insulin Resistance Formula, which can help improve insulin sensitivity and stabilize blood sugar levels. And obviously, there's a ripple effect with other conditions as well.
Absolutely.
Tell us all about it and what's in here.
So this was a practitioner-grade formula which was developed specifically for practitioners.
Okay.
It's in a liquid formula, so you get rapid absorption.
Okay.
It's got quite a good herbal complement in it. Okay, it's got gymnema, cinnamon, olive leaf. Not a lot of people know that olive leaf is one of the best things for lowering blood sugar and for metabolic syndrome, which is the blood pressure, lowering inflammation. It's got quite a range of Ayurvedic.
Siberian ginseng.
Siberian ginseng, which is for the adrenal sugar balance stability, which is so important because people get that major drop, so then they want sugar, so we've got to stabilize the blood sugar levels. Artichoke leaf improves liver function, detoxification of the liver, which is central to sugar stability and metabolic syndrome. It also clears excess acidity, and it's one of the main botanicals that's been researched specifically for metabolic syndrome. So the combination and the synergy is something that I've worked with for probably the past 10 years with my patients. And I've diabetics, their blood sugars drop from 15 down to 5. I've had people slim down, improvement in energy levels. So all those symptoms associated with and in conjunction with the diet change, I've watched great improvements with this product. So it's a very effective formulation.
Why did you go for a liquid format?
So liquid format because of the rapid absorption and the ability to combine these herbs.
Okay.
So we are developing it into a capsule formulation. Okay. But you know, it's also got a herb in there called Sutherlandia, which is a South African herb, which is famed for improvements in diabetes.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. So if you're taking this, besides the weight drop that you mentioned, what other type of...
great improvements in stability in your energy levels, cognitive improvement, improvement in your immunity, improved digestion. So the complement of the herbs have such a wide improvement in overall health, which is really important because you're trying to get all your cells using energy, and you're trying to involve multiple systems, which is your adrenal system, your liver system, your pancreas. So when you can address it from multiple angles, you really start to get great improvements. And there's major research behind each of these at the right dosaging. Because in a liquid dosaging, 5 ml twice a day get the right therapeutic dosage. Normally in liquids, it's just a few drops. In this case, we're getting all the dossiers and scientific research is available around all of these specific botanicals. So, and that combination just makes a very potent synergy.
So where do we buy it?
So Insulin Resistance Formula from NeoGenesis is available at health shops and pharmacies, independent health shops and pharmacies across South Africa. It's available on neogenhealth.com and from scentedsecrets.co.za.
Should it be kept in the fridge?
No.
Okay.
It's stable at room temperature.